Creams by Finan. It's a cold one tonight. Funny, ain't it? The most sweltering of summers can lead to such chilly autumns. My Bill used to always say that if we'd a really hot June in Yorkshire, he'd make sure we were booked for a week in Mallorca or Lanzarote in October. Never took us though. Bridlington more like, to a caravan up on Thornwick Bay. Once, to the Grand on Scarborough seafront. That was the month before all the guests ended up with dicky tummies and they had to shut the place down for a week. Harry Gratian, that nice man from BBC Look North, came and did a report outside the hotel. We watched it on telly. We had fish and chips that night from Drake's. Batter weren't brilliant. Aye, it's bloody cold. There won't be as many of the kiddies out tonight doing trick-or-treat as there were last year. If it were my kids, I'd only have them out for an hour or so. Take them down Bottomer Street, up the Gill and back round Charles Lane, then home for tea. But these kids, now, they'll be out till all hours dressed up as Spidey-Man or one of those horrible yellow cartoon creatures. When I was a lass, you went as a witch and the boys went as a ghost and that were end of it. It's all become a bit much now, hasn't it? Very American. Anyway, oh, that's a nice cuppa, thanks, nurse. I shan't expect to be seeing many of them tonight. They don't tend to come round here now I've moved to be closer to Bill. Back in our old house on Turpin Street, I'd come home from work. Did I tell you? I used to work at Boots. Back when it was a proper chemist mine, not full of tat. I'd put a pumpkin in the window, so kiddies would know they could come knock. And Bill would turn up about 5:30 with a Halloween box. That was a nice touch they did at Terry's chocolate factory and all. Give all the workers a box of chocolates to take back for the trick-or-treaters. They didn't do that at Roundtree's. Different class were Terry's. It was lovely to give the kids something different. I used to love watching their little faces as we opened the box up for them to make a choice. They all used to like the nugget one. Coconut, not so popular. Jean, from number 36. She kept the box her husband Tony brought back from Terry's all to herself. They never had much class, did their Barkers. She's dead now anyway. The rot set in with me and her when they put my Bill on soft centres. Tony wanted to be on soft centres, but he didn't make the cut. Not careful enough with his fingers. You have to be ever so precise to get it right on soft centres. Strawberry cream's always my choice. We were both skilled with our hands, me and Bill. About the only thing we had in common. But then they do say opposites attract. Now, you shouldn't have your favourites. And me and Bill never did of our own kids, of course. But with the kiddies on our street, we knew the ones we liked. Little Peter and Andrew Robinson, now they were good boys. Used to say please and thank you ever so nicely after they'd called trick-or-treat. Their dad, Alf, was the scoutmaster, which I suppose is why they were so polite. I used to always make sure they'd get a nice chocolate, and one for their dad too. But I'll tell you for nought, we had some absolute tinkers used to come knocking. Now I don't mind a bit of mischief. You want a kid with a bit of character. But that Kath talk. Oh, she were just too much. You never knew a girl for picking flowers. Every bloody morning would I watch out of the window and she'd pluck me petunias on the way to school. I told her mother once to keep an eye on her. You know what she said? She's expressing her creativity. Well, it went up for a joke, and I said as much to Bill. Horrid-looking thing she were, not bonny at all. And you could tell she'd be one of them girls who never had lads mooning after her. When she knocked on our door that Halloween night, I admired the stick-on wart on her nose. Of course, I knew it weren't stick-on at all, but she had made such a mess of my petunias. Still, dreadful shame what happened to Kathleen. Her mother never got over it, so they say. You could hear her wailing after the coffin from t'other side of York. It was probably a ruptured tummy ulcer, they said. Shocking in a young girl. I did take flowers round to her mother's. Not petunias, of course, as I didn't have any left. But some nice carnations. She moved not long after that. Poor thing. I had to sort a prescription for sleeping pills out myself at Boots. Dreadful thing to lose a child. Oh, yes, I will have another cup of tea. 2 sugars. I'm afraid I've something of a sweet tooth in my old age. Never used to. Always used to pride myself on being very trim. Not like Margaret Blackburn from Charles Street. By, she were a big un. Size 24 in Marks and Spencer's knickers. I know, because I used to see them flapping on a line in our front garden. Shameless. Massive bum. And the bosoms to match. Oh, pardon me for saying so. Now, I knew my Bill liked a bigger woman, but I don't mind telling you that I was very upset when I caught him tickling Margaret Blackburn at a quiz night at the Highwayman. He had about 6 John Smiths, which I suppose is some excuse, but she were wearing the most garish pink lipstick. And her poor young daughter stuck in the corner watching her mother make an absolute show of herself. I made sure to give her lass, Marie, I think I'd called her. Oh, an affected name if ever I heard one. An extra chocolate to take home the next Halloween when she came trick-or-treating. "Yeah, Ma'am'll love a soft centre," I said, handing over the most choice in the box. "Make sure you give it to her with my compliments, won't you?" I wouldn't let Bill go to Margaret's funeral. Well, he only got a fortnight's leave every year from the factory, and it wasn't like he was family. I sent some flowers to Margaret's husband. He was a lovely-looking fella and all, apart from the ears. And to Marie. They never worked out exactly why she collapsed. But it's hardly surprising carrying all that round. Didn't raise too many eyebrows anyway at the time. No, still no kiddies here tonight. I shouldn't be surprised, really. Not an environment for kids, is it? A care home. me, you can see the chimneys of terrace from the window. They shut it down, you know. They make the chocolate oranges in Poland these days. Disgraceful, if you don't mind my saying. Oh, you mustn't mind Bill. He always makes odd noises whenever someone mentions the factory. Just look at him, drooling like a great baby. And I'm sure that's a mushy pea smeared on his chops. Pity. He was always a handsome man, my Bill. Even when he got a bit wrinkly, he could still run rings around the other fellas at the factory. I did my best to look nice for him, you know. Especially after that awkward incident with Margaret Blackburn. But my old mum always told me a leopard never changes its spots. She was right, God bless her. I smelled a rat when he refused again to take me on a proper holiday. But not even I could have suspected he was having it off with Jean from number 36. Yes! Oh, whose husbands couldn't even get on soft centres. I suppose that's why she wanted my Bill. Bit of class, my Bill, I always used to say, despite his romping. It must have been the shock of me finding out that led to his stroke. Oh, I couldn't have planned it more perfectly. I sent Bill round with an extra box of chocolates for Jean come Halloween night, to be neighbourly and all. Next thing you know, Tony's on the phone, all hysterics, telling me to come round right away, and when I get there, Jean's in a bloody pair of suspenders from Ann Summers on Corney Street, lying on the settee, blood foaming from her mouth. Our Bill's in his Y-fronts in the corner, looking as if he'd been punched in his great big gut. So I had to give him something sweet for the shock, didn't I? The chocolates were closest to hand. I'll always remember, just as his face went white, the first trick-or-treaters came ringing. Tony went to answer it. He thought it was the ambulance. It was Dottie from number 12's granddaughter, dressed as that horrid pig cartoon they have on telly all the time. One more cuppa? No, thanks. Oh, but you could take me mug into the kitchen to wash up. No, don't worry. I can just sit here and chat to Bill. We could always chat away, us two. Ah, there she goes. Oh, poor Bill. I hope you don't mind me saying, but it'll be a relief when you go. It's a burden on our family, you know, you being stuck in here, with meals that look like mashed up rusk and baby food and no one to clip your toenails. It would have been a blessing if you went when you had the stroke the first time I tried. If only it hadn't been in Jean and Tony's house. If there's one thing I can't abide, it's gossip. Look at you. You know, I could have been something. When I worked at Boots, they taught us all sorts. How to dress a wound, how to fill a syringe, what medicines you shouldn't mix with others. And now, here I am. Sat visiting a husband who can't lift a finger or help himself or anyone else. Oh, don't mind me, love. You know, I've no right to be mardy. I'll be off to get the house ready for tonight. I do hope there's at least one trick-or-treater. It'd be a right shame to miss out on that. And speaking of treats, look at this one I've got for you. I saved it up from my cup of tea earlier. Perhaps, once you've had your dinner, the nurse can give it to you. I'll leave it just here. A special one with my love. Oh, don't look at me like that, Bill. I'll ask the nurse to make sure you really enjoy it. A nice, soft centre, this one. You couldn't have heard it better yourself. You always did love a strawberry cream.